Okay, just a second. Working on stuff. I don't want the dog call join. Okay, are we live? Have we been live for a minute? And were people seeing how I struggled with the connection? How embarrassing. It seems like we are.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, so hi everybody. Welcome. Everybody said, really nice to see you. So we have people in the waiting room. We need to, Vaibhav, I'll make you co-host.
Yeah.
You're not already, and I'm excited about today. It's a little bit different. And we're going to be joined by many of our colleagues on LinkedIn. So that's absolutely exciting. So while our team connects, and I'm so happy to see many of you. We have Shika, Nikita, hello. Yeah, some of you I know from your LinkedIn posts. A whole lot, wink, wink. So what we're doing today, we have this internal meeting at Almabase with the team, and I think you guys have found it, relatively helpful. It's been about thinking of like what connections we had between the culture, the way of thinking about things, the way of calling things in advancement, and the way that we operate internally at Almabase, right? How we set goals, how we, lots of, and Vaibhav, you've mentioned this lots of times, like we're talking about the same thing often, but with different words, right? Just maybe like a tech world mentality. So we're trying to bridge that gap. And Kalian, our CEO, he can't be here today, but he said, I think this conversation would really be fruitful to, open it to the world. And also we ourselves, would learn a whole lot from just having other people maybe interacting via comments. So that's what we're experimenting today. I look forward to everybody's feedback here on the team, and maybe we do a quick round of intros now. But anybody who's in the chat, also, we look forward to your input, your advice. We hope to make this fairly interactive. It's just going to be half an hour, so we're going to be quick. And that's about it. Should we get started just introducing ourselves? Vaibhav, do you want to go first?
Yes, absolutely. Hey everyone, I'm Vaibhav. I work with the customer success team here. I'm currently in Bangalore, India. So I've joined Almabase like 6 years back as an engineer, and since then almost spent 5 years working with engineering, building a lot of modules or product here in Almabase with product team. And starting this year, I'm trying working with customer success manager, the support team here, the implementation team here. So I'm super excited that how an engineer and the product and the success would what's the term I'm looking for? It's like work together to provide that experience. So I've always thought about we have this jargon is SaaS, software as a service. right? But today, software is no longer enough to get successful, and it has to be success as a service, the new definition of SaaS. And I think that's what we are trying to do here at Almabase, is making success as a service for our partners all across the world. So that's about me. Thank you.
Almost nothing. So what I love about the team here is how closely we're integrated between the product team. So that's the software engineers, and our, the team that's on this call mostly, right? That we actually have a Slack channel. Our customers may not know this, but we have a Slack channel where the moment somebody sends a message to us, like our engineering teams are like, hey, I need help with this, or maybe Sid or Nikita will say, this is going on. And then people are like on it. I mean, it's, for me, coming from Hire, this was amazing. So next, Shika.
I think Shikha is commuting, so I'm not sure if she'll be able to talk.
Okay, that's fine. Nikita, now that you volunteered, I'd like to say hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nikita. I'm a customer success manager at Almabase. I've been here for the last 6 months, and yeah, I'm enjoying the whole higher ed and the whole K-12 space. I really enjoy what I do, and every day is a challenge. Every day is something new.
So a word, a positive word for Nikita, incredibly creative. So, I mean, everybody who has any of the success managers here is lucky, but I've seen how she really tries to make things happen. Nikita, can you share who you were with before?
I was previously working in Dell.
It's fascinating, right? And so there must be like so many similar things and different things. Mr. Sid, you're like so we were on a community session a few days ago, and his previous point of contact at the at the education institution, he was like, "Oh, Sid, I missed you. It was incredible." So, hi, Sid, welcome.
Hi, Lewis. Thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Sid, and I work with the customer success team here at Almabase. And so, yeah, one thing that I'm really excited about me being here at Almabase is we're actually building a team where we have our customers at the center. I think whenever we have these conversations around, you're like, will our partner like this? Will our partner enjoy this? It always goes to that outcome that we're trying to achieve, and that is something that I'm really super excited about. And great that we've opened this event up for everyone. I'm really looking forward to sharing more and learning more as well. Thanks, Lewis.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes. And delight, right? That's a word I've been using to describe Almabase when you're using it, which is like, it's just so joyful, just going in and even writing an email. It's such a pleasant experience. Ankit, I saw you went on camera. Maybe that was because you were volunteering to say hi.
Hey, hi everyone. This is Ankit, and I work in the sales team. Yeah, it's been amazing. It's going to be a year in October.
Wow.
So looking forward to that. I mean, in the last 8 months, I've been like I've spoken to tons of people working in alumni engagement and advancement, and it's something new every day. And love this initiative by Lewis, by the way. I mean, it's amazing for us as sales, salespeople, because it gives us a lot of like new, things in our arsenal that we can talk about. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Amazing. Thank you, Ankit. Maybe another day we share with people like when it is that you speak with higher ed institutions, at what stage, because I think that will be like super interesting. When as fundraisers, this model of that we have in software of SDR and then account executive there are some parallelisms, but maybe that's for another session. And so that will be great. Thank you. Anybody else? It's not compulsory if you're commuting or anything like that. But if anybody wants to say hi, please do. And if not, we'll go straight into the content for today. We don't have so much time. And I see Pranay, I see Akil, the other Nikita, and Suj. Anybody unmuting? Pranay?
Hey, I'm actually here with Akil too. Give me a second.
What time is it for you guys?
It's 6.
So good afternoon.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Take a walking meeting.
Well,
Yeah, so quickly just introducing myself. Hey guys, I'm Pranay and I am a success manager here at Almabase. Yeah, that's me, and I've possibly worked with a couple of you guys as well. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is Akhil,
okay.
and why I joined this meeting is I think what I want to talk about. Again, like what Ankit said, it helps with staying relevant, especially when you're so uh, driven by the daily execution. You don't realize that you need to keep up to date about what's happening in the market, and these sessions are helping me, especially when it comes to giving advice to the team, right? Like what they should do with an account or with a prospect, or even in terms of coming up with strategy. I'm not able to uh, give pointed advice unless we have active discussions going. So yeah.
Lovely. Thank
One
you
of the-
so much. We
One
just,
of the anecdote which I want to share is like Akhil is also known as enabler within his team. So
what does that mean? Vaibhav, what does that mean? That's super interesting.
So what happens is whenever our account executives are talking to our customers, right? So they would need collateral or the knowledge about, okay, what are the immediate problems, or trying to discover their problems, what kind of content we would need them. So Akhil works with marketing, works with designing team, works with his teams of sales development rep, to try to get all of this together. Along with that, he has a team of like sales development rep who reaches out to a lot of folks in higher ed at a different, in advancement at a different designation. So what content is relevant to them.
Interesting.
So yeah, he enables
Super
the team
personalized.
who reaches out to the folks in advancement. I think that's what I understand.
Wow. So it's wonderful to have an enabler here with us. I hope you will enable this meeting, because we need a lot of enablement. But it's so interesting to think of something I was surprised to observe when I joined Almabase, was how the distribution of responsibilities is different than in higher ed, right? So a lot of the work that happens on one person in a fundraising shop in general, you kind of take a piece of that and move, and have one person dedicated to that. And like that distinction between the sales development representatives, which would maybe kind of be an annual giving officer or a digital experience officer, and the account executives, which would kind of maybe be a major gift officer. Anyhow, all these connections are fascinating. I'm going to jump into the topic of the meeting, because it's always so great to spend time with all of you. I feel we could talk for hours, but objectives, goals, metrics. Metrics is kind of like, a big word in advancement. And we thought that maybe talking about the OKR model, objectives and key results, would be helpful for people in advancement. And then maybe if we have people on the chat who want to react to what we're sharing as we go, like, oh, this is similar to what we do in this place, would be great. Can anybody that's on the call share a little bit of how we structure our goals along this OKR concept?
Okay, maybe I'll go first. Like I've been with organization with Almabase from 6 years, and almost 3 years it's been where I've been part of those meetings when we set OKRs, right? There's a term that we use called as North Star metric, a metric that we look at, are we as a company making progress, right? And the result of that metric is definitely money, but money is not the metric. So what is that metric that we look at? So we call that metric monthly engaged user. So I think that's where everything starts. We identify what are the term that we use in Almabase is KPI. What is the key performance indicator of the company? That, hey, we are actually solving the problem of our customers, right? Which of these numbers indicate that, right? So the process starts with identifying those numbers, and then we set an objective. What do we do with those numbers, right? There would be like 2 or 3 numbers at the whole business level, right? And usually the CEO Kalyan would start with, hey, these are the 3 objectives. I wanted to drive this, right? That would lead to increase or decrease in some of those numbers, right? And
Fascinating.
those
I have a
objectives.
question. Vaibhav, I'm going to
Yes.
interrupt you. I'm going to be very rude. I'm sorry. But so something that happens in advancement is that we also have these numbers. But what I've noticed is that they tend to always be the same numbers. So it's always, prospects, it's visits and asks, or if you're a major gift officer, or it's always dollars and donors. So my question for you, and maybe we can go through the rest of the team and get a feel for how their own metrics feed into this, but how often do these change? Like, how flexible are they? Like the big, goals that like you said, you mentioned Kalyan, our CEO, does he change these every year, every quarter, every month? What is that dynamic like?
So this don't change every year, but and it's not yearly. I think we go with like 18 to 20 month sprint, where because these numbers which we are trying to drive, they take that much, because it takes like at least more than 1 financial year for us to go through the whole cycle, and it takes time for the results to appear. So I think that's an important aspect. So that doesn't change monthly, quarterly, or half yearly or yearly. Around 18 months or 20 months is where we'll look at these numbers, because this is about monthly active users, right? We take a lot of everyone in different departments, take a lot of initiatives to drive those. So that's one.
Okay.
Another, like for example, there's something called as we measure something called as NPS, right? Like Net Promoter Score, how our customers are likely to refer to other, right? And it takes at least 9 months for 10 to 20% to fill that survey, and then you have to do another campaign to get that number and see how consistent it is, right? It's increasing, decreasing. So I think it takes around 18 to 20 months for any metric that we are trying to increase or decrease to see the results. So we always call that outcome, right? So there is another term, we call it leading indicator and a lagging indicator, right? So I think that's how I would say what changes is a leading indicator, which changes monthly or maybe quarterly. And these North Star metrics are mostly a lagging indicator, lagging in the sense you would know when these are the results after the fact, right? Leading in the sense, if a good way would be if our users are not logging to the dashboard, right? That's a leading, because before even they see success, we know that they're not logging in, right? So that's a good indicator that our outcome of increasing monthly engaged user might not be achieved because they are not even entering into the system, right? So we try to have, then the whole goal is being split into what is a leading metric, which we will know, we can measure easily, we can know before the result happens. So yeah, that's what I would say.
My goodness, Vaibhav, you've just given a masterclass. So what I'm going to try to do is, anybody else who's on this call, we spoke about our company level goals, right? How does this impact your work in your day-to-day? So like, do you have personal goals? And how are these tracked? Can somebody share a little bit of the detail there? And we have different teams here, which is great, right? So we have sales and we have customer success. If we could have at least one person from each, and you can, Nikita.
Okay, so like, if we're not talking about company level things, like if I have to simplify OKR, there are 2 parts to an OKR. There's objective and key result. An objective would be, say, I want to lose weight, and key result, there could be 3 key results. One could be, okay, I have to go for a 30 minutes walk every day. The second key result could be maybe not eating junk food 5 days a week. So I think the way I look at objective and key result is, objective is what I'm looking to achieve, and the key result is how am I going to achieve it. Because if we just talk about, okay, like say I want to lose weight, that's not going to take me anywhere. So I think the key result is the plan. So yeah, just
so
try to
for
make it
instance,
simple.
we want to grow our donor participation. We want to grow our dollars raised. But the key results is what needs to happen. There are the steps that happen under that. In your day-to-day as a customer success manager, how do you think of your objective and your key results?
So the objective could be, say, I'm having a conversation with a customer and they tell me we want to increase alumni engagement. So that could be the objective. Key result could be that we brainstorm with the customer and we say, okay, let's send out a monthly newsletter to them. Then a second key result could be, let's do more events so people feel more engaged. So yeah, I think a lot of what we do is we sit down and we brainstorm with the customer that, hey, this is something we can do together. So yeah.
Oh, lovely. I kind of wish I had been on the customer side with you all, because it sounds amazing. And then do those key results have a number attached to them? So you said we want to do more events.
Yeah.
How do you measure that? By did the event have more people? Do you measure that by engagement of, maybe just platform engagement around that event? What do people end up doing? Like, what are the most typical ways to measure this?
One very basic one could be event registrations, but it's also about the ticket price that's coming in. So what is the money that you raised, through event registration? So that's also a perspective. And the third thing could be people who are engaging with events, but they are maybe not opening your emails, or they're not opening your solicitation emails. So you can identify who are the people who are interested in events, but they're not interested in other things. So,
but the event still in some way attracted them, engaged them. Maybe they read about it, but they couldn't come. So, but that's still some type of metric. And Vaibhav mentioned MAUs. Can somebody define that for me? That's not Vaibhav. Because that's something where I feel,
So MAU is basically monthly active users. These are users who come on the platform and do any action, right? So we have evolved. I mean, at least the world has evolved into a digital first age, where now it is not just about sending a postcard or just about one email, but how do we actually do digital engagement? And even going back to, even though our North Star still stays the same for 18 to 20 months, still when we try to define smaller goals that actually come down to the team and all of that, we try to be in line with where the world is going, right? What exactly do folks want outside today? What exactly do our own partners, even the industry, the market has evolved over these years. So what do they exactly look for? And when we're actually trying to, I think I'm digressing from.
No, it's perfect. And you missed one. What do our partners, donors want? And because I see that how we react to that very quickly,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So it's though again, as I said, though our North Star remains always the same. It's about these small processes, these small actions that we do on a daily basis, on a monthly basis to achieve those North Star and goals that keep iterating and changing based on the feedback that we get from our partners, the feedback that we get from our donors, and all of that. But yeah, MAU in short is monthly active users who come back on the platform, and that becomes a really key metric because those are the folks who are actually interested, coming back, looking at stuff, right? Even from a donor participation level, right? Those are the folks who actually have shown some intent and are ready to take the next step, which is the action to donate.
So something that surprised me when I joined Almabase is this focus on the MAUs, monthly active users, because that's truly where we align with our partner institutions that we work with. We want them to engage their constituents better and more. And that's our internal goal that we have. So we're not going to be happy if they're not doing well. And that's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to ask for two more things in the few minutes that we have left. One is if somebody from a team that's not success can speak broadly, about their OKRs, how they think of it at their team level. If we have somebody here. And two, the actual tools that we use to set and monitor these goals, I think that's going to be helpful to people who are on the call. And if you're on the call, we want your feedback. Please put a comment in the chat if you're finding this helpful or not, or if there's a different direction that you'd like us to go into. So sales, anybody?
Yeah, so on behalf of the ABM team, what we are doing right now is to make sure that there is some engagement happening with our prospects. Again, yeah, there is a lot of parallels between CS and the account-based marketing team. I wouldn't want to call it sales because that happens a while later. As company, what we are prioritizing is to make sure that we are sharing best practices and also measuring impact from the engagement through these best practices that we're sharing. So yeah, that's a couple of jumps, but to provide value, we also do discovery with our prospects. Like we talk to them about, hey, what's going on with your team? How are you currently navigating through this confusing phase where you have the option to run 10 events, or you could do something for your alumni through a digital platform, right? So there are many options out there. We are talking to different schools and we are learning a lot depending on the size, depending on the ability for them to drive a program. We see that, yeah, this school can do 10 events and that's best for them. While this university could do a mentorship program or also do regional events in 20 different places, and that's where they get more benefit. So that's something that we focus on. We make sure we get this information, we share it with the marketing team, we try to highlight successful stories. So this is what we do. These are key results for us to make sure that we're hitting our engagement objective, especially with folks that we speak to. Occasionally, we also see that people whom we speak to are aware about Almabase and they want to know what we do, how are we using the information, how are we adding value to other universities. So that's when we usually introduce them to Almabase. We connect them with folks who show what Almabase is capable of doing. We see if there is a fit before we even think about demoing Almabase. So yeah, that's just the engagement part. I don't want to go into the numbers specifically, but there's definitely some revenue that we are pursuing as well. And the goals are structured in such a way that based on what we see in the previous quarters in terms of how engagement slowly translates to interest, how that slowly translates to consideration to evaluate Almabase, how evaluation takes place, and then eventually the purchase happens. Beyond that, also we have goals, and that's where all the goals that Nikita Vaibhav said talked about make sense because it's still a journey for those who decide to partner with Almabase, right? So I hope that gave some insight into how we work.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Thanks a bunch. So and we have 3 minutes, and I'm going to reiterate, if you're listening to this on LinkedIn, we'd love to have your feedback. Just feel free to chat something in there. How do we track all of this? Do we have is there a software for OKRs? I know in higher ed there was a lot of reporting that happened, but it was oftentimes very custom. So like every shop I've been at had its own way of tracking results and kind of custom reports. How do you all do it?
I think it's HubSpot. So we do track a few goals or like objectives on sheets, but most of this data comes from HubSpot itself. There is a motion to make sure that even reporting happens on HubSpot entirely. So we also believe what we preach. HubSpot. We want all the data in one place. And yeah, that's where HubSpot is our all in all.
Okay.
Yeah, there are
That's
a few tools that we use along HubSpot.
Yeah, because HubSpot has a nonprofit side that they're trying to grow. So that is we find a lot of value in that software and it's a good place to track all our efforts, including on the success team.
Yeah. So on success team, pretty much when we write objective, we start with an Excel sheet. We open a new Excel sheet, and then there are tabs for every quarter. So we go with quarter. Right. So once we have like a company level, so it's an interesting way where the objective and the key results. So objective of our CEOs and the key results that they have set, and every key results becomes our own objective. Right. Everyone who reports to the CEO. So we take those 3 key results and they become our objective, and we have our key results, and those key results becomes the objective of the people report to me, right? So that's how the whole hierarchy or the major goal is translated across the team. So when I have my key results, which is assigned to me, or once we have discussed, I picked it up. Okay, this is what you have to do, or this is what the CS has to do in this quarter, right? We write it on the Excel sheet, or we use another tool called Notion. It's more or less like sheet, and we start writing about the key results that we wanted to achieve on that, and then we discussed during our regular team meeting, which we have every day, about that for a week or so. And once everyone is in line, right, we've just set up those dashboard on HubSpot to track if that's happening or not, right? So the process starts with Excel sheets. I think that's the best place to get started. And being here with 7-8 years in company, I think we still start with Excel sheets, trying to make sure that we are at some point, and then go back to our CRM, which is HubSpot, to look at how the numbers have moved. But yeah, at least at the high level, those numbers on an Excel sheet makes it very, very easy and keep things simple.
Fascinating. I found this fascinating. I know, number one, it's Friday, almost evening for you all, and also you're all kind of starting the day here in the States, so I'm sure you have lots of calls with partners to get to today. We're going to evaluate whether we do this again throughout the week, but so anybody who's on LinkedIn, those thumbs up, those little emoji thingies are very motivating, believe it or not. But I'm very grateful to the Almabase team that was here with us. Next week we're going to talk about jobs to be done. And we're going to have a presenter, surprise presenter from the team, here from our Almabase team, who has been looking at a report that we've been studying that looks at a study of donors from the perspective of the jobs to be done framework, which is something I learned about at Almabase. So it's like our worlds are colliding. So I'm very grateful to all of you, and please keep that feedback coming. Take care. Bye, team.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.